The sun hung low over Hays, a slumbering Kansas town, with prairie winds whispering tales through the weathered clapboard homes. Ephraim, a man of lean years and abundant patience, surveyed the scene from the window of his small office. His crow's feet crinkled as he squinted, his gaze dancing on the horizon where the earth met the hazy purple twilight. A soft rap on the door announced the arrival of a young boy, sandy hair sticking to his tear-streaked cheeks. Ephraim gently steered him into a chair, listening as the child unfolded his story, his wide blue eyes shimmering with fear and sorrow. With a comforting hand on the boy's shoulder, Ephraim promised to find his missing brother. With his quiet resolve, he stepped into the sinking day, a silhouette swallowed by the gathering dusk. His course, determined by the whims of his newest case, led him to the moss-etched gates of the local graveyard, a sprawl of time-worn headstones and crypts. He traced the carvings, the cold touch of the stone leaching the warmth from his fingertips, finding peculiar symbols and cryptic etchings, too deliberate to be dismissed as mere vandalism. As he journeyed deeper into this silent city of the dead, he perceived an eerie calm, a departure from the melodic symphony of cricket chirps and rustling leaves that usually permeated the Kansas nights. A dread-laden silence swallowed the graveyard. His eyes, accustomed to hunting secrets, were drawn to an ancient mausoleum standing solitary in the heart of the burial ground. It seemed to pulsate with an uncanny aura, an invisible beacon summoning him. He returned home, the nocturnal serenity of his town a stark contrast to the foreboding graveyard. Under the dim light of his lamp, he jotted notes, the soft scraping of the pen the only sound intruding upon the night's silence. Yet, beneath the veneer of calm, his mind wrestled with the peculiar symbols, the uncanny silence, and the looming shadow of the mausoleum. His night drifted into a dream-tossed slumber, where spectral echoes of the graveyard danced through his mind, entwining themselves around the day's experiences and amplifying the intrigue that had taken root. He awoke to a dawn still tinged with the mystery of the previous day. He found himself drawing the mausoleum, the peculiar symbols in the graveyard, the details of the sketches mirroring the vivid imagery of his dreams. With the new day came a new determination. He was to return to the graveyard, for there were threads to be tugged, secrets to be pried open, and answers to be unearthed. With a cup of strong, black coffee to clear the vestiges of his dreams, he resolved to step deeper into the mystery. It was clear to him, as he stood once more before his office window, the townsfolk of Hays, the lost boy, and the grieving brother depended on him. In the chilling silence of the cemetery, the cries of the missing resonated, and he was attuned to their call. Day bled into night, and night into day, each passing hour threaded into Ephraim's tireless pursuit. The once familiar face of Hays had begun to peel away, revealing a haunting visage etched into the canvas of the vanishing townsfolk. The somber-faced neighbors whispered tales of spectral figures shrouded in moonlight, wandering amidst the graves. Each account was a thread, subtly woven into the eerily identical narratives of unexplainable lapses in time and shadows that seemed to breathe. One such thread led Ephraim to Mrs. Fennell, a wizened old woman who claimed to have seen one of the missing folk, her grandson, beckoned into the graveyard's heart by an ethereal figure. His hands shook as she handed him a locket, the last remnant of her lost kin. It was a simple piece marred by time, but as he held it, the metal seemed to flicker, an odd trick of light making it appear simultaneously ancient and new. In the solitude of his office, the eerie stories of the townsfolk whispered through his mind, echoing in the quiet corners of the room. The locket lay open on his desk, an enigma that pulsated in sync with the whispered tales. The photograph inside was of a young woman, her eyes identical to the fearful blue of the young boy who'd sought his help. His investigations compelled him to delve deeper into the tapestry of the town's lore, plunging him into a sea of yellowed parchments and moth-eaten tomes in the town's ancient library. Hunched over the dusty volumes, he wrestled with twisted prose and cryptic illustrations, his mind bending around concepts of cosmic deities and spectral planes. His days were spent in dialogue with scholars conversant in arcane texts, with cryptographers, and with old-world storytellers, their knowledge casting an iridescent sheen on the threads he'd been weaving. The theory that emerged was as terrifying as it was fascinating. Were they victims of portals to otherworldly realms created by ancient cosmic entities? Every conversation, every story, every symbol etched onto the brittle pages of the ancient books, they all pointed towards the peculiar symbols in the graveyard. A nightmarish reality began to shape itself within the catacombs of his mind, his world twisting and reforming under the weight of newfound knowledge. The muffled cries of the missing seemed to grow louder, their echoes rebounding off the cold stone of the mausoleum in his dreams. Yet the shadows of fear and apprehension could not dampen his resolve. With each revelation, he found himself drawn further into the silent beckoning of the graveyard. The locket his constant companion, its sporadic shifts in age a tangible connection to the cosmic mystery. He stood before the graveyard gates once more, armed with the wisdom of the ancient texts and an unyielding resolve. His world was changing, and with it, he too was transforming. His eyes bore the weight of unseen worlds. His spirit was marked with ethereal whispers, and the heart of the graveyard awaited his return. He knew he was stepping onto a path from which he might never return the same, yet he ventured forth, ready to pierce the shroud of reality. In the wavering candlelight, Ephraim studied the symbols and the etchings of the graveyard map sprawled before him. The symbols of the ancient texts now wove themselves into the fabric of his reality. The graveyard had ceased to be a mere resting place for the departed. It was now a cryptic doorway to cosmic entities and alternate realms, a shroud draped over the ordinary, concealing extraordinary realities. With dawn a mere specter on the horizon, he returned to the graveyard. The ever-present silence had grown thicker, the wind whispered tales in dead languages, and the shadows danced with hidden knowledge. His path led him to the old mausoleum, a spectral figure under the waning moon. He traced the symbols etched into its door, his fingers guided by countless hours spent decoding similar patterns from arcane books. The door swung open, revealing the pulsating heart of the mausoleum. He stepped into the unseen, into an alien landscape that defied his understanding of reality. Colors bled into one another in an ever-changing palette. The air vibrated with the echoes of spectral hymns, and the earth beneath him throbbed in an unknown rhythm. Time and space twisted and undulated, painting a surreal canvas of existence. The missing townsfolk emerged from the shadows, mere phantoms of their former selves. Ephraim's heart ached at their vacant stares, their physical forms torn asunder by the swirling chaos of the realm. His eyes locked onto the young woman from the locket's picture. Her skin shimmered in the bizarre alien light, and she wore the same terrified expression the young boy had. In this otherworldly theater, he encountered spectral entities, their formless bodies pulsating with eldritch energy. They moved like phantoms, whispering secrets in languages that twisted his understanding. The locket in his pocket thrummed with unseen energy, the rhythm matching the pulsating reality of this newfound realm. Time looped onto itself, past and future colliding, coiling into an infinite present. His footsteps echoed both ahead and behind him. With every conversation, every interaction with the spectral entities, he was drawn deeper into the chaos, losing and finding himself in the ever-changing whirlpool of cosmic energies. Fear coiled around his heart, yet he found strength in his resolve. The rawness of revenge and the whispers of justice fueled his determination. He was here for the lost souls of Hayes, the town that had morphed from a sleepy haven into a living nightmare. With knowledge as his shield and resolve as his sword, he readied himself to challenge the unfathomable entity that loomed at the heart of this chaos. Stepping deeper into the reality he had only read about in the ancient texts, he resolved to rescue the townsfolk, close the portal, and confront the cosmic entity. His world was forever altered, yet he pressed forth, ready to tear the shroud and face the abhorrent truth of reality. His path ahead was as daunting as it was dark, yet he ventured forth, a silent sentinel poised on the edge of the abyss. A symphony of otherworldly chants echoed in Ephraim's ears as he delved deeper into the heart of the abyss. The pulsating entity radiated an energy that filled the air with an alien heaviness, suffused with a raw, ethereal power that twisted the very fabric of existence around it. Confronted by the pure manifestation of the cosmic deity, his reality fractured, reshaping into a maddening panorama of surreal. He stood at the precipice of understanding, his world suspended in the throbbing heart of the entity. Within its gaze, he saw the multitudes of reality, the countless strings of existence that weave together the tapestry of the universe. It whispered words of eons past and futures yet to come, a cacophony of time that threatened to shatter his mind. His once humble world of humble homes and prairie winds dissolved into an amalgam of cosmic horror and spectral entities. The secrets he had yearned to uncover had consumed his reality, threatening to devour his sanity. His grasp on the familiar slipped, each memory of Hayes becoming a ghostly specter beneath the weight of the new reality. Yet, in this vortex of madness, a burning spark of revenge kept him tethered. The townsfolk, the lost souls, their cries echoed through the cosmic winds, a beacon in the swirling chaos. He felt the locket in his pocket, its metallic chill anchoring him. With newfound courage, he confronted the entity, its formless shape rippling before him. His words, laced with the ancient languages of the texts, weaved through the air, a plea and a challenge to the spectral deity. The response came in the form of a swirling vortex, a whirlpool of time and space that promised a return to the familiar, yet at a steep price. He saw his reflection in the portal, a man forever marked by the abyss, scarred by the truths of existence, a man who would forever bear the weight of the spectral secrets. With one final glance at the abyss, he stepped into the vortex. The spectral realm collapsed around him, its eldritch hymns fading into a murmur. He emerged under the familiar skies of haze, the spectral realm shrinking into a mere speck of memory, its reality forever etched into his being. The townsfolk, dazed and confused, blinked under the morning sun. The boy from the locket stumbled towards him, a smile blossoming on his face. Despite his trauma, he managed a weary smile back. The cemetery was silent once more, the once ominous mausoleum now a simple monument of stone and time. He stood on the outskirts of the town, looking at the world that was once his. His heart echoed with the memories of the spectral realm, the whispers of the cosmic entity forever etched into his mind. Hayes was safe, the missing had returned, but at the cost of his innocence, replaced with an understanding that pierced the veil of reality. He was a man changed, bearing the weight of the abyss within him. His path had led him into the heart of cosmic horror and back, leaving him scarred, yet unbroken. The silent cry of Hayes had been answered, and Ephraim, armed with knowledge and resolve, stood ready to face whatever cosmic secrets the universe still held hidden. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like it and subscribe to our channel, where you can find more similar stories, and click on the bell icon to never miss one. There is plenty more cosmic horror to come from the Eldritch Tales Factory. Stay tuned, and until next time.